Hi guys, welcome back to Cupcakes and Protein Shakes. I'm your host, Savana, and we're doing another episode of Bikini Girl Chit Chat. So introduce your name, your age, and where you're from.
Hi, I'm Alexandra Creech. I'm 37 and I live up way in Northern California in Humboldt County. And I didn't think this was going to happen today because we had a huge storm last night and lost power.
Oh
Almost had
wow.
to text you, and I'm like, ah.
Okay, well, thanks for
But
jumping on. What kind of like a
yeah,
rainstorm or what?
yeah, it was just crazy windy, but we got power back probably around like 4 a.m. So
Jeez.
we've been having power on and off for about the last month.
My goodness. Well, I'm glad that we got to talk to you. So where are you at
Yeah.
in your season right now? Are you off season? Are you prepping? What are you doing?
Yeah, I am in a build right now, coming off of Nationals December 2nd, and I totally saw you there. And, social media, it's so weird, right? I'm like, oh, that's Savannah Sharp. I should totally go say hi, but she has no idea who I am, and that might be creepy.
Hey, next
So,
time come say hi. It is a small world, but no, I understand. Like show day is a little different because everyone's like game face. Like it's
oh,
it,
yeah.
it's intense. But yeah, that's I didn't know that we competed at the same show. So tell me, how did nationals go for you and what class were you in?
It didn't go well. It was my second ever NPC show. Uh, and I am in class C. I'm a little over 5'2". Um, and a lot of things went wrong that day. I don't want to specifically call anything out, but I definitely had to like rush backstage. My class was already like about to go on stage. So I just like was not in the right headspace. And I screwed up my posing and I just,
Yeah,
it wasn't
it's
my day.
did
Okay.
you place or did you tie for
No,
16? Okay,
I did not place.
solid.
It's
Yeah.
all right.
It
It's all
was a
right.
hard show. Like it was fun, but it was a hard show. Like it was very
Yeah.
competitive. There's a lot of girls. I mean, that's how nationals is. It's a lot of it's nationals is way more stressful than any regular show. Like compared to a regional show, national stress is like way higher. Just because
Oh, man.
the
Yeah.
conditioning is different. Like you are looking your best. That you probably like leanest, most must like you look your best. Obviously, you don't want to like mess it up, and then the stress of just oh my gosh, it's nationals. Pro cards are on the line. There's girls here that are like huge. Like it's just a lot, and
Yeah.
it's a big show. It's a big city. It's a lot of people in the audience. Like it's a whole entire different ball game. Like the stage itself is like whoa. The stage was actually
Yeah.
I was like dang, this is a legit stage, like with the projectors of your image on the side, like the LED screen.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, this is pretty legit.
Incredible.
Yeah, it was really cool. But yeah, okay, so that was, you said, second show ever.
Yes, ever.
Okay, so you must have
Yeah.
qualified for the show this year. When was your regional show?
So I did Motherload, which I believe is in May.
Yeah.
So I did Motherload. I got one first place and four second places. So then I spent the rest of the year building up to go to that national show because I didn't feel ready for any of the other national shows before the December 2nd one.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay,
And even
wow.
then, I need to get bigger. Always.
Same, always, 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 more, more. Okay, so 2022 was first shows ever, first national shows. And what was going on before then? Were you an athlete or like where were you at in your life before you started prepping?
So I've been a personal trainer now for probably, let's see, 5-ish years, which was a total departure from what I was doing before. I was a television editor in Los Angeles. And then when we moved up here, remote wasn't really a thing yet.
Yeah.
And internet is so awful here because we're so remote and no one gives a shit about us. But so I couldn't do that anymore. And I had two kids and I just couldn't fathom spending 60 hours a week in front of a computer and not seeing them. So I decided to get my personal training license and did that, did the whole gym thing. Then the gym closed during COVID and I started my own home gym and now I train out of that. And I was like, you know what? I've never done anything competitive. I've never played sports. I've never really put myself out there because I'm kind of really shy. And that was always terrifying to me. And I'm like, you know what? I'm not getting any younger. So why don't I just try and do
Yeah.
something? I think I can do this. So I hired a coach and we did it and it was awesome. And now I'm hooked and I love it and want to keep going, just, and if I don't ever get that pro card, that's okay. Like I enjoy the process of it. I enjoy the lifestyle. It's really helped me with depression and anxiety and ADHD to have that solid goal to, crush basically.
Okay. Yeah, this is amazing. So how old are you?
I'm 37.
Okay, so did you compete in Masters at your first show?
I did. I competed in Masters. I competed in True Novice, Novice, and Open.
Okay. So the pro card is not the goal, or it is maybe.
I mean, I would love it.
Okay.
But
If it
if it's not
happens.
in the cards, it's not in the cards.
Okay.
I mean, I'm trying my best to get those delts on board, man, but they're
Well,
stubborn.
it's hard. It just takes time. Okay, but
Definitely.
you said you've never played sports before deciding to do personal training, right? Or like, so
Right. So I decided to become a personal trainer because after I had my first son, I had gained 60 pounds and I'm only 5'2". So 60 pounds is a lot
a lot on
on
a
someone
little
that
frame.
small.
Yeah.
It's a lot. And previous to that, I had dealt with eating disorders and, just never loving myself. So I was 60 pounds heavier, struggling to lose the weight, hadn't really ever had a trainer, didn't really know how to work out. When I did go to the gym prior, it was cardio machines. I didn't know how to lift. I didn't know how to do any of that. So my husband was like, why don't you hire a personal trainer? I'll pay for it. Like, I see that you're sad and you want help. So I went to the gym, hired a personal trainer. She changed my life, became one of my closest friends. And I was like, hey, I want to do that for other people too. I want to make them feel good. I want to help them meet their goals and in a healthy way. So she changed my life. And ever since then, been lifting and loving it. And the competition just kind of unfolded from there. Like, this is my sport. This is what I do. Let's try it.
Yeah. Okay. I
Yeah.
like that a lot. It's really not typical to do no background, but to jump in. But a lot
Yeah.
of times you're proof that, you either jump in, hate it, jump in, love it forever. So I'm glad you jumped in and that you love it and that you're going to work for it. Okay. So how long have you said 5 years of personal training?
Yeah.
Okay. So what made you decide finally to like push yourself into let's do a competition?
I really just wanted to prove to myself that I could do it. I've had two kids, two C-sections, wanted to show all of the moms out there in my age range that it can be done, even if you have a busy schedule. I work, I've got two kids, I've got a kind of a hobby farm, and just wanted to show other people that it can be done and it can be done healthily. And
Okay.
I think that I get a lot of feedback from people in my community that, like, I'm inspirational for them. And I'm like, oh, I didn't even know that you were watching, but that's amazing. Thank you. I really
Yeah,
appreciate that. That means so much to me.
it is. It is crazy when you decide just to even make a few like not even fitness changes, just like a few healthy changes that you don't find out who's watching till the end.
Yeah,
And
it's amazing.
it is amazing. It's odd because you just think you're out here by yourself, hustling hard, going to the gym day and out, and you don't realize that there's people that pay attention that are looking at you for, oh, I saw her like 2 months ago and she didn't look like that. I want to see what, she's looks a lot leaner than she did. She's got more muscle. Whatever she's doing must be working. So they start to like pay attention. And then, months later, you get someone to come up and be like, hey, like I saw you got your competition, you did so well. Like just, it's a full circle moment, and it's exciting too that, your personal trainer sparked that, and that's kind of what you're trying to do for others now. So for your clients, do you have competition clients? Are you more of a lifestyle trainer?
So most of my clients online are lifestyle, and definitely in my gym are all lifestyle. I have a lot of seniors that didn't want to go back to the gym because they were afraid of COVID. And I love being with them. The stories and the life lessons are just amazing. And I have one client that is thinking about competing. And I'm like, let's get it, girl. We're trying to raise her calories up right now because she told me she was in the 1,000 to 800 calorie range. And I was like, oh, girl,
Yeah,
we can't go anywhere from there,
that's not,
and it's working. We've been raising it every week, and she's been dropping pounds like no one's business. So,
yeah.
you know,
What do you think the biggest lesson learned was going through a prep for yourself? Like, what was your biggest takeaway from doing it?
that I've been doing everything wrong for weight loss prior.
Yep. Yeah. Okay. So tell me some of the weight loss, things that you're doing wrong versus what actually works.
Oh, girl, I think I tried every fad diet out there, and just would always just fall off. I never tracked, I never weighed. That was like the very last thing I did when I started to get serious about doing this. I was like, okay, yeah, this is what works. And guess what? It's really simple. So simple. It's the easiest thing you could do. Weight loss is not complicated. It's hard, but not complicated. And um, flexible dieting was eye opening to me. Being able to eat the foods that you love and still stay within your macros and not having to cut out an entire macro group to
Yeah.
get your goal.
Yeah. It's hard. It's kind of
So,
sad because it's like there's there's so much. I guess there is the education is out there. People are trying to get like, here's what actually works, but then there's so much just random junk of diet pills and detoxes and juice cleanse and all this other
oh
stuff.
God.
And when I see that stuff, I'm just like, I'm like this. I'm like, I don't care. I've told people every time it's so easy. Like you got to restrict your calories and you got to move more. That's it. That is
That's
literally
it.
it. It's like don't
It.
overcomplicate it. But what about keto? Or what about some other stupid thing? And I'm just like, listen, I've done this a few times. Every time, nothing crazy. We don't do anything crazy. It's literally just track what you eat, then track what you move, lift heavier than what you lifted last week if you can. Like it's pretty simple, and it's funny that once you actually get the hang of it, it does become like easy, not easy, but just like, oh, you're like, wow, it's something that you're like, I want to share this with everyone. This is so amazing. I wish everyone understood,
Absolutely.
you know? Um, okay, so what about how was posing for you?
Oh, posing is the one thing that I struggle with the most.
Okay.
So 4 years ago, I broke my back and bulged some discs and have retrolisthesis. So my lumbar is not very flexible. And
Yeah.
so I tend to make big mistakes. Like I lean over in my back pose, and I tend to drop my glutes sometimes. And I feel like when I get nervous, I make myself small. Like I get my feet close together, I pinch my shoulders in, and I have got to stop doing that. Like that's usually my main feedback is like, your posing sucks, dude. I'm like, I'm trying real hard.
The reason why I asked you that is because like don't have a background of dance, you don't have a
No,
sports background of like rehearsal. Did you ever do theater or anything creative?
In high school, I did a little bit of theater, but
Okay.
besides that, no, I was a computer nerd.
So yeah, when okay, bodybuilding, it's amazing because of how much everything's structured, but it could
Yes.
be overwhelming in the beginning if you don't have a background of something of like what it takes to practice and like how much practice is enough to get to a goal. So for I'm thinking your first show, like from your first show to nationals was a way different mindset. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So walk me through the first prep. Like, was it challenging at a certain point? Was it easy? Were you excited? How were your calories? How was your training split?
It was a little bit challenging. I felt very tired the last month, and that's not normally how I feel. I normally feel like I have energy for ever and ever and ever and ever. So that was hard for me to get over. And the insomnia was just out of control. I was like, this is wild. I don't sleep well anyway. So I was just like, oh God, like, how am I going to survive this? Um, and, just having the doubt in your head of, am I lean enough? Am I going to make it? I'm going to make a fool of myself. Am I going to be last place? All of that constantly swirling prep goggles. You can't really tell what you look like. And,
Yeah,
it wasn't too bad. I think the lowest calories I got to were probably around 1200. And again, I'm a
you're
small
small. Yeah,
human being. So, and cardio wasn't too bad. At most, I think it was 45 minutes, five
yeah,
days a
that's
week.
not
So,
bad. It's not bad.
not terrible.
Okay.
Not terrible.
Okay. And then for your first show, walk me through like show day. Was it a good show day? Was it a bad show day for your first one?
It was amazing. It was so much fun. I loved meeting everybody backstage. Everybody was so kind. I still keep in touch with all of them. It's so fun to watch them on Instagram and see everybody else's journey. And a couple of the ladies that I competed with went pro last year. And that was amazing to watch. I actually got to watch one of my friends go pro at the nationals that we went to. She was in figure, but that was still such an amazing moment to watch. And I just love all of the connections that you make with people, and that adrenaline rush of getting your number called and your name called and walking out onto that stage and trying to remember to hit your poses and not pass out and trip and anything else that could be a catastrophe. That's an amazing feeling. And then, getting your name called for first place and second place, man, like getting moved to the center, all of that is just such a wild, amazing ride.
Were you aware of it on stage, like that you were getting close to the center when they were moving you around in comparisons?
Yes and no. I was like, I think that I'm in the center, but I'm not sure. Like maybe I'm third over here. I can't really tell. And I could kind of hear my coach like screaming from from the stands, like, "Oh, Alex, go! Like, yes, this is amazing!" So I kind of had an idea of what was happening, but not fully. And I feel
Yeah.
like I just black out on stage. I'm like, I don't know what's happening.
Yeah, that's kind of how I remember my first time. I'm like, I think I blacked out, but I knew I have memories of it. I'm like, I remember I was there. I definitely was there, but just like when you're actually on stage, like your adrenaline for the first time, like is so high. And that
Oh,
first show, it's just it's like such an adrenaline rush. Like you are, and then you keep going on stage. Like since you have multiple classes, so you get the first
yes.
one out of the way, and then you're like, oh, okay, I'm done. And then it's like, here we go again and again and again. Because you had to do true novice and
Yep.
then novice, then open. And then did you do masters too?
I did masters. Yeah.
Okay. So did you do any more than that?
No, that was it.
So yeah, you got to go on stage a
Yeah,
lot.
four.
So your poor
Yeah.
back was like, after a
Oh
while,
man.
yeah, the
I was
back.
so sore.
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
this is the hardest physical activity I've ever done in my life.
I mean, it's not like
Damn.
you have a ton of stage time, but just flipping your back like that for like tense, it hurts. Yeah,
It does.
that's exciting.
It does.
Okay, so they're going to call you for first place for the first time. And how did that feel? Like, were you like what was going through your head when they announced your name?
It felt absolutely unbelievable because the women that I was up there with all deserved to be first place, you know?
Yeah.
Like I'm like, what was special about me? Like, this is incredible. Like, thank you. I just, it's an indescribable feeling to get that award. You know,
Yeah.
I can't even put it into words about how amazing it
Mhm.
was.
You know, that's
Truly. I wish I had a better answer for you.
I know, no. I just wanted to see like what it felt like because it's fun. It's fun. Like it makes it worth it. Like, the cardio and being dieting and or
Yeah.
how long was your prep for that show?
I believe that one was around 16 weeks.
Okay.
I'd
And
have
what
to
were
look back,
your
but it sounds right.
like how much weight did you lose during your prep?
So I started at 123 and on stage I was 103.
20 pounds? Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I had put on quite a bit of muscle too. I had a good base, just from working out, but I had never trained bodybuilding style.
Mhm.
There was a lot more accessory work than what I had previously been doing. I'd usually just train human movement pattern, compounds, and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So it
Okay.
definitely was a little bit different.
It is very different. Yeah. Okay. So this was first show. And then did you get feedback from the judges after this first show? What did they say?
Bigger delts and keep rounding out the glutes always
Easy.
and forever.
Forever and ever on repeat. Upper body day, lower body day, repeat it
Yep.
forever. Well,
Yep.
that's good. And did you talk to them about going to nationals or did you talk to your coach about it?
Definitely talked to my coach about it. She had a couple of other girls going to nationals too. I think one did the Chattanooga show and a Jersey show. And I was like, I just don't feel ready for those because they were
Mhm.
a couple months away from Motherload. And I was like, I just want to do the one at the end of the year so I can spend a bunch of time building and, try and get some delts and
Right.
glutes on board, right?
So was there anything extra that you did to work on your delts and your glutes after your show?
I definitely had more volume on delts and slightly more volume on glutes. My lower body builds pretty well compared to the upper body. So I had about 2 lower body days and 3 to 4 upper body, and definitely did improve the delts. They're still not where they need to be.
Yeah. It,
Will
it
they
just
ever be?
I'm asking myself the same thing. It does take time. And
It does.
it's just we want to rush. We want to just get
Yeah.
them tomorrow. And like I like lift and I'm like, are they better? You look in the mirror after one lift and you're like, oh, is there's threads? Am I lean now? It's like, no, you gotta keep going and putting the work in. Okay. So what is least favorite part of bodybuilding?
Least favorite part, probably the cardio.
Yeah, yeah,
I mean, I don't mind a little bit of cardio, but it's just, it's kind of boring
it is.
after a while.
It
It's
is
a little
super
bit
boring.
boring. But I
Yeah,
love the lifting. I love the structure. I mean, I've never had structure in my life. This is the first time. Normally I'm like, woohoo, where am I? I don't know what's going on. Let's fly by the seat of my pants.
yeah,
So it's it's been great. The post show blues are kind of hard
yeah,
to, I feel like I'm still, I don't know, Nationals was a little bit more post shows bluesy for me because at least after Motherload, I knew that I was working towards the national show, and then Nationals, kind of bombed, and now I'm like, should I just stop?
I
Did I make a
know.
fool out of myself? All the self doubt,
Yeah,
all the self doubt, all the bad self talk that I'm trying to turn around. It's getting better. I'm like, yeah, I do deserve to be here. I did deserve to be there, and I deserve to keep going.
Yeah.
And I want to show my kids that just because you lose doesn't mean that you quit,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah. I like
because
that. It's
yeah,
hard.
you got to,
National
it's
shows
hard.
post blues it's hard because I mean, you don't go to nationals unless you feel like there's a small piece of you that believes that even if you know that it's not going to necessarily happen that day, you still have this like sliver of hope that's getting you through the cardio sessions, that's getting you through the diet.
Yes.
Like, you know what? Maybe it would be me that day. And it is kind of hard once the prep like fully ends mentally and you're just like, oh, wait a minute, I've been only thinking about this date for
Yes.
a year
Yes.
now, and now that date
Yes.
in the past, and I'm like, now what? Like now where do we go? Like how do I get yourself, back into that same like, self-loving of like, okay, should we keep going? Did I really, should this not for me? And you do have to ask, like, after you lose, is it like, okay, do we have to be super honest because we're getting judged? Is it just me or
Right.
do I still have places to go? If it's your all-time peak and that like if your physique couldn't get any better and you literally could say there was no room in for improvement, that was my best, then it's just like at that point, it's like, okay, genetically, it's not for me. At that point, you can say, okay, I could quit. But if there's still delts to be built, if there's still glutes to be built, you got to go build them. And
Absolutely.
it does take time, and I'm definitely experiencing that post show blues. Geez, holy cow, it's crazy. But it's just the routine doesn't change, and it's hard because it's like,
No,
okay, no matter what, even if you would have won, would you have been ready to go into the pro league?
nope,
No,
absolutely
so
not.
you'd be doing the same thing. You'd be building yourself up and taking time off. So even if you were to have gotten the goal, you'd be in the same position. It's just a mental
Right.
switch. And so it just takes time it takes time for your body to process. I think prep is a trauma. I really do. I think it is because every time I prep, like I think my like brain like blacks it out and because like time goes by faster. And I'm like, holy cow, that 16 weeks just flew by. And then in the
Yeah.
off season, it's just like feels like every day is so slow. Like every day is just so slow. But you have more energy and things you're not really rushing around and you have time. So
Yeah.
what about are you planning on doing any shows this year? Are we taking the whole year off?
Yeah. I think that I want to try and do the Tahoe show August 12th.
Okay.
Um, if I feel like I've built enough, I feel like my build's going really well. Like I see good changes. And
Yeah.
I mean, what, we're only like month
Yeah.
or two out, so I think that if I just keep my head down and keep crushing, I'd have a good chance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Why
mean,
not
straight
try?
happens.
Yeah, and I love getting the feedback too. So maybe use that as a warm up show, see what the judges have to say, and then keep going from there.
Yeah. Get like the
You know,
feedback. It's just, okay, am I on the right track? If not, get on a stage, check out where your progress is, get the feedback.
exactly.
If it's going good, do another national show. Okay, what's the feedback again? And just like repeating that until you're done, until the goal's done or until you're
Yeah,
ready for a break. And if you like competing, I think you should keep competing. Like even if your physique isn't quite ready, like I think it's just fun.
it is fun. It is
Yeah.
super fun. I enjoy it. I
Yeah,
really
it
do.
is.
Even though
Like
it's terrifying.
it is. It is oddly terrifying. Because like every time I get backstage and I'm about to go on stage, I'm like, why is this the sport that I picked? Like out of everything.
Yeah.
Looking down, I'm like in my little teeny little tiny bikini, and I'm like, I'm about to go show my ass to the whole world right now. Here we
Oh man,
go.
yep.
Nothing,
Yeah.
no shame. Like, let's go. Yeah.
I know my parents and my kids and my mother-in-law and my husband all came to nationals. They all flew out there for
Yes.
nationals, and I was like, so my parents are gonna see me in this bikini? Like my dad was a pastor. Like I'm like, So I was like, are you guys
Oh
okay
my
with this?
God.
And my parents are all about it. They're like, yeah,
Yeah.
this is
Yeah.
amazing. We love it.
Yeah.
I'm like, thank you.
It is weird at first. I remember my dad went to my first show and he was sitting next to my boyfriend. And I'm like, at the time, because I'm like, I still think of it as, you're like, okay, I'm showing my butt out there. But eventually it's like, no, those are my glutes. That is not my butt.
Exactly.
Those are my glutes and my hamstrings. That's not my butt. Okay. So
Yep.
it is completely different. Like when you're stepping on stage, but like telling your family about it. And I know you said your family's pretty supportive.
Oh yeah, they love it. They think it's great. I mean, maybe they don't understand it, but they love
Yeah.
it.
Okay, so what
Yeah.
about when you're on prep, like how do you incorporate them into it or like what do they think about it or like how do you balance that
Oh
like
my gosh. They were so amazing for my prep for nationals. Like, obviously we had to prep through Thanksgiving and they were like, you know what? Let's just go to a restaurant and I'm going to call the restaurant ahead of time, make sure that you can bring your own food and it will just, you don't have to sit around food all day long. And I was like, that like, thank you so much. We
wow,
can
yeah.
do a redo next year or maybe in a couple of weeks. We all still got to be together and have Thanksgiving dinner, but it was so much stress off of my shoulders to not have to sit in front of Thanksgiving dinner for 10 hours,
Hours. Oh gosh. Yeah, my family's the same way. They're just like, well, if you can't be here, like we're not gonna do it unless you can do it. So they're like, just bring your food. We'll just do like a normal dinner. And I was like, great.
Oh,
This is amazing. Like
it's
this is amazing.
amazing.
Yeah. And so if they're supporting you, it makes it a lot easier too, because they see that it makes you happy and that's all that
Yeah.
you want is you to be happy doing something that you love.
Yeah. I can't imagine going through prep and not having supportive
Yeah.
people. It
It's
would be
hard.
so hard if my husband wasn't on board. And
Right.
I don't think I could do it.
Yeah.
I really don't.
I know. Has any of your like healthy habits rubbed off on your family?
Uh, yes and no. Now my sister-in-law comes and trains with me, which is amazing. And they do try and eat a little bit healthier and, they're not going out for donuts all the time and, things like that. But uh, they're not about to start a prep or anything.
Yeah.
Change their
Okay.
lifestyle completely.
So before I forget, are you team cupcake or are you team protein shake?
Can I have both?
Sure. And okay, so if you could be either one, like what's your go-to protein and what's your go-to cupcake?
So, go to protein is definitely true nutrition because you can choose exactly what you want in it. The types of proteins, you can even make your own mix, like 25% pea protein and 50% whey. Whatever you want, you get to customize it. You get to customize the flavor and any add ins that you want, like any special mushroom blends and stuff like that. So, I love that because then there's no extra fillers or anything like that. And then cupcakes, oh boy. I mean, I am a fiend for chocolate, so anything chocolate, but I also really love lemon.
Oh, you're speaking my language. Okay. Yeah.
Oh, there's a cupcake place here that makes a real mean lemon raspberry cupcake.
Cool.
It's
Yeah, I like to have
particular.
like double. I like to have like the fruity lemon and then a chocolate like
Oh,
separate, but at the same time. So you get a little bit
so
of both.
good. Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
absolutely.
Okay. Well, I've been forgetting, so I'm like, okay, I have to make sure that ask you this before the end of the episode. Okay, so what about like motivation? Like, what do you think your biggest advice is to someone who wants to start a fitness journey, or someone that wants to start competing?
I say just start. Motivation's not always going to be there. You kind of have to rely on yourself to get it done, self discipline. I think that a fitness journey is definitely also a mental journey as well, because it is hard to be so consistent every single day. And you know what? Sometimes I'm not consistent every day, but I am trying to show up every single day, even if it's not the best workout or I binged a little bit, I just keep going. You don't have to punish yourself if you had an extra meal or you had an extra cupcake. Just, move on, try better the next day. You know, motivation comes and goes, but self discipline is something that you can continue expanding on and learning. And, it's growth, just like bodybuilding is growth. We're always trying to get bigger. We're also trying to better ourselves mentally so that it's not quite as hard, right?
Mhm. Yeah. Okay, I like that a lot. And then what about for someone who is also in your position? Like, what advice would you give to yourself about where you're at right now?
Oh man, stop with the negative self-talk and the doubt, you know, uh, and just keep your head down, keep going, try your best, show up for yourself every day. This is my form of self-love, and um, you can do it. Not everybody's going to be a winner. It's not always going to be your day, and that's okay. Just
Yeah.
got to keep going.
Okay, I like it. So is there anything I haven't asked you that you want to expand on?
Hmm. Um, no, I don't. I can't think of anything off the top of my head.
Okay. Anything
Sorry.
that we missed? I mean, so I just want to make sure that we covered your entire fitness journey. If any parts that we left out or any other, impactful moments for you.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's so nice having in-person clients and them being so psyched on my fitness journey. It's so nice to have like basically your own cheerleading squad. They come into the gym, they're like, hey, so like, when are you competing next? What do you do? Like, how's your food? What do you do? And they're constantly learning, and they're getting better habits. They're learning to track. They're learning to be consistent, and I don't get the same question every day of like, well, how do I can't lose this 5 to 10 pounds. How do I do it? How do I do it? I'm like, consistency, show up for yourself, track your food, and you'll make your goal.
Mhm.
So
Yeah,
it's fun to have them be so excited
I
for
love
me
that.
and also change their life at the same time.
Yeah. Okay. So what are some of your coaching philosophies?
So I like to make health like people's number one goals. When someone comes to me and they say, oh, I've been eating 800, 1,000 calories, and I'm 30 pounds overweight. And, I ask them to take a step back and like really look at themselves. And I'm like, look, this picture in front of me that you're showing me, you are absolutely beautiful. Why do you feel like you need to change the way that your body looks? Like, what is it mentally? Are you ready to take the next steps? Because at some point, we are going to have to diet you back down. And are you going to be okay with that? Is that going to trigger you to have eating disorder or a prior eating disorder to pop back up? Are you going to be okay with this? And I always just want to make sure that that doesn't happen. Health is number one priority. I don't ever want to take anybody super low calories or just kill them on cardio or kill them in general in the gym. That's not fun. Being sore constantly isn't fun. There's no point in that, So I like to make very simple plans that people can follow and they feel like they're making progress without having to do all these insane fancy Instagram workouts that tend to take over right now. Like, why are you twisting and lifting and jumping on the, like, what I'm talking about. So um keep it simple, keep it easy, because then people will be able to accomplish their goals. If it's too complicated, people are going to give up.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I like that. So if someone wanted to work with you, how can they find you?
So you can find me on Instagram at Little Mama Fit, all one word, all spelled LITTLEMAMAFIT. and you
Okay.
can shoot me a message there.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you coming on and thank you for sharing your journey with us.
Thank you so much for having me. And next time I see you at a competition, I'll say
Yes,
hi.
please say hi.